This time, I'd like to call the Tangipahoa Parish School Board meeting to order for March 15, 2022. At this time, would ask Ms. Cynthia to give roll call, please.
Ms. Richards?
Present.
Mr. Toller?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mr. Moore? Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present.
This time, I turn the meeting to Ms. Abrams.
We had Miss McKenna Tate, who was going to sing our national anthem today, but her grandmother passed away. She was going to represent Laranja District. But since we have a special guest here with us that's a very dear friend of mine, we're going to let the Louisiana Strawberry Queen 50 sing the national anthem, Miss Avery Myers. We'll do the pledge first, Avery.
This just so happens to also be my choir teacher from high school, so she's gonna be accompanying me as well.
We'll do the pledge first. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Avery. I know I threw you in that at the last minute, but we appreciate it so much.
Yes, thank y'all. Moving on to consider approval of the board minutes of February 15, 2022. Do I hear a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion
second.
by Ms. Dominguez, second by Ms. Simmons. Call for a vote.
Voting is open.
Yes. Mr. Joseph looks comfortable in that chair right there, doesn't he? I think he's been there before.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to awards and recognition. First, recognize the recipients of the Enos Jake Bailey Jr. Above and Beyond Award. Ms. Simmons?
I'd like to call up Ms. Jamie Mills and Colette Talon. They're going to be part of honoring this individual, and meet me down front. The Jake Bailey Above and Beyond Award is awarded to individuals in our system of any position that have gone above and beyond their regular calls of duty. and we've had some outstanding nominees, and tonight we have just such as that with Captain Suzanne Miller. Would you please come up? Certificate of recognition, Captain Suzanne Miller, in recognition for being the recipient of the Edith F. Jake Bailey Above and Beyond Award. I've heard some wonderful things about what you do for the traffic in LaRonge, greeting everyone and smiling and doing a great job. Thank you so much. And we have some other individuals. I'm going to give a turn. Wait. All right, this is your special letter from me. I'm a Bailey. I was. Anyway, but also to a gift certificate. Thank you very much. Absolutely.
We also have Deputy Stephen Easley Jr. He can come up, okay.
I don't think he's here.
Mr. Glenn Johnson. And we have one more who's not here, Detective Earl McFarland. Okay, and we're just going to say a few things about our crew. So on behalf of the LaRonge Elementary faculty, staff, and parents, we would like to say thank you. The work that you all do amidst the different Louisiana precipitations does not go unnoticed. Whether it's raining, cold, hot, or just a really nice day, you all show up. Each second matters, and your ability to control the school traffic as well as the everyday traffic flow during our highest peak hours is amazing, and you are definitely appreciated. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize our morning and evening carpool crew on campus who assists with keeping traffic going. We unload about 10 to 15 cars in the morning at a time, and then we load in the afternoon 7 at a time, all while keeping the other children waiting, seated quietly and attentive to their names being called. A huge thank you to my staff as well that helps in this everyday initiative. And I just have to say, these people are pretty animated. I'm going to see if Miss Colette can do a demonstration.
All right. Yeah. All right. All right. What do you say? All right. Now, how am I involved in this? Well, first of all, I have a loud mouth. I'm not afraid to pull over and say thank you. But I'm a passerby that goes through the traffic. And I have to say, they have to be the poster children for getting traffic moving. So I'm an elementary teacher. So I wrote a little poem to thank you. Get ready. I mean, come on now. Here we go. There's a little town not far from here where a lady they call Peanut works with so much cheer. Suzanne Miller, you may know her, is her real name. Along with her team of traffic guards, have rose to fame. They work the LaRonge school traffic with so much ease. They have so much traffic expertise. Being respectful, being compassionate, being great is what I see. When driving through the carpool line, they are like celebrities. Celebrities, you say? I know they are. Just watch the waves and smiles that they give each car. Traffic moves continuously, here no time to waste. There are skills to be taught in this wonderful place. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart, because without you, the carpool line would fall apart.
Next, we're going to recognize the royalty for the 50th Strawberry Festival. Ms. Dominguez.
We love captive audiences. And there's nothing like being put on the spot if you're the Strawberry Queen, right? And Miss Robertson, where'd she go? You are amazing. We love you. Thank you so much. Ponchatoula High School choral teacher. She taught Avery. So we thank y'all for filling in last minute. Y'all did an excellent job. So I'm here today because I want to recognize the 50th royalty for the Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival. I have had the privilege of doing this for 16 years. I would say 16 years. This is my 16th year on the school board. Only year I didn't get to do it is because of COVID. And I've brought the royalty up here because I think it's important. They've played such a great part of our parish and the economic development of our parish. They represent the farmers. They represent the nonprofits in our local area. And so y'all come on up while I talk about you. So the Strawberry Festival, of course, was started as a dream in 1971, and the first one was in 72, and 50 years later, we're still going strong. And it's only put on by volunteer people. Nobody gets a paycheck. People like you, people like teachers that are here that work hard every day, these people are the royalty that represent the board. And there's, anywhere from 30, 35, 37, 40 people put this whole thing on. Hundreds of thousands of people come to Ponchatoula to honor the strawberries, to honor the nonprofits. And we could never do the things we do in this parish without a lot of that tax money and a lot of the economic development for the towns, not just for Ponchatoula, but for all the hotels they fill up, all the vendors. It's an amazing thing. So I love to recognize them every year to do this because it's so important for our parish. All of the people behind me are Ponchatoula High graduates. Their chairman is not here tonight, and I'm just going to say a little bit about him first because Jeff Wright is the chairman. He couldn't make it. He sent me a text a few minutes ago because of work. He couldn't get here. Jeff is the longest serving board member for the festival. He has dedicated so many hours to that festival, and not to mention Ponchatoula as the Ponchatoula Chamber of Commerce president, JC's. He has done so much, so no more deserving person this year to be the 50th chairperson than Jeff Wright, and I hate he couldn't be here to get his recognition and his due. But we do thank Jeff for all of the hours that he put in. Jeff was also chairman in 2007-08 when my daughter was Strawberry Queen. And I served with Jeff when I was the chairman myself in 2004. So for me, I love the strawberry. I love Ponchatoula, and it's very passionate. I'm very passionate about it. So first I want to introduce, I was going to introduce Jeff, but I told about him. But the next one is the man behind me. So this is our great king. His name is Carl Wells. Carl is one of the remaining founders of the Strawberry Festival. He has been so instrumental in helping Ponchatoula and the community. He loves Southeastern. He doesn't hardly miss anything at Southeastern. And he has done so much. He even got the locomotive put in downtown Ponchatoula, if you ever driven through Ponchatoula. He is the most deserving person that I know to be king this year for our 50th, and I am proud to say that he's my brother-in-law as well. Our next and our very newest royalty is our Blossom, Miss Willie Mae Cummins. The Blossom is this is our first year. She's very instrumental in helping her husband at farming and also farming herself and doing all things, and I'm going to let her tell you about herself a little bit and why we chose her for Blossom. But I will say, in case she doesn't brag on it, her king was also her husband was also the king, and her daughter was also the queen once. So royalty runs deep for her. Our next person is our Grand Marshal, Miss Margaret. She is Margaret Brown Mcneely Joyner. And she's a longtime family, really friend and member because her sister-in-law is my cousin. I've known her for a long time. She's done many, many things for Ponchatoula. And her daughter was also a queen. And last but not least, and I want her to speak first, Avery Myers, and y'all heard her sing. She's so talented. She's an amazing She has an amazing voice. We love to hear her sing. She has done so much for the community as well as just being a great queen this year. We're so proud of her. And I served my very first year on the Strawberry Festival Board when her mother was queen. So we have royalty blood in all of our lines, and we love it, and we just wanted y'all to be aware of the festival. If you haven't ever been, they're going to tell you about it, and I'm going to start with Avery. So thank y'all for coming. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Well, hi y'all. I'm so excited to be here as the 50th Louisiana Strawberry Queen. It has just been a dream come true. My mom, like Miss Rose had said, was queen in '98, and then my grandparents actually also helped start the very first Strawberry Festival. So to be here as Queen 50 is a huge honor. A lot of people ask me what the Strawberry Queen does throughout the year. We travel to a bunch of festivals and fairs to promote Ponchatoula. The farmers to shop local, eat strawberries from our local areas like Ponchatoula, even though there are farmers around Springfield and Independence, everywhere around Tangi Parish. And so I basically am an ambassador for the festival. And we are just so happy to have a festival this year. I mean, it hasn't happened in over 2 years, so I'm gonna let Mr. Carl go ahead and talk a little bit about the festival and the history.
One thing that's been very enjoyable, my wife and I, along with Avery, we went to Washington to the crew, the Mystic Crew Carnival. And it was rewarding to be there with all those beautiful queens all over the state of Louisiana. But there's one thing that happened 50 years ago. And I'm just going to let this just float around. And on here, there's Dennis Hebert, a former representative, the governor, Edwards, my brother, Ron Morgan, and myself. And the one thing that I like about this picture, I can still show it. The other ones are dead.
They're pushing me up. Who wants to follow that? I don't have a picture. And just let me say thank you so much for inviting us here tonight, and you teachers. I am a retired teacher. I taught 31 years in a neighboring parish and have been retired for 10 years. So God bless you. And I appreciate what you do. I get to lead off the Strawberry Festival Parade on Saturday, April 9th at 9:30 in the morning. And if you want to come to our parade, be there on time because it has a great history of starting on time. We have a $50 entry fee, and we begin at the Lions Club, end at the Kiwanis Park in Ponchatoula. Application deadline is March 25th. So if you're interested in entering a float in the parade, you don't have much time to do that. And you can look on our website for other information. We also have something else before the festival. On March 26th, we have something called Julian Dufresh Strawberry Day in the Park at Memorial Park, which is the same place where the festival is held. We have a bake-off, a car show, a wing cook-off, a holy board tournament, live music, and we are auctioning strawberries. So it's a great way to come out and spend hopefully a very nice day in a park outside with your family. And thank y'all, especially you teachers. Like I said, I so appreciate every one of you. Thanks.
Well, last but not least, I am the 50th. I am the 50th Strawberry Blossom, but the very first. Don't they know that we come first? Yeah. Before there. Anyway, my husband and I have done it for about 40 years, somewhere around in there. I got to go back to saying he was the king in 2000, and they came and asked him to be king, and he was like, what? What are you talking about? But anyway, he did. Then my daughter, who's not a little person, y'all, she's 6'1", and not little. And she came home and said, I'm going to be the next queen. And I said, you are? And she said, I'm going to run. I said, okay, if that's what you want. And she did. And she won. She was the first strawberry farmer in 30 years. She was the 30th strawberry queen. So my husband was a king. My daughter was a queen. And I got my own title. I'm the blossom. We just want to invite everybody out to the festival. The farmers depend on y'all coming out and buying their strawberries. The park will have everything you can think of. Strawberries in every way that they can think of putting them together. All the farmers appreciate what the festival does for them. 50 years ago, when Mr. Carl decided he wanted to help do this, we appreciate it from the 50 years back. It is a day that everybody comes out. And it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you have 3 days. Pick which one you want to come. There's rides. There's everything you think of. Anything strawberry, anything to eat, we got it. We invite everybody out. That's right. Y'all all come.
So just to put it in words again, our festival is April 8th through the 10th. So I hope to see all of y'all there. I'm so excited. We finally get a festival. Let's go.
Thank y'all again for your patience, and thank you again, royalty of the 50th Strawberry Festival, for coming. Give them another hand, y'all.
This time, we'd like to recognize the 2021-2022 Teachers of the Year. Ms. Jackson.
It is an honor and a privilege to recognize our teachers, our great teachers, for all the crucial work they're doing with our students. At this time, we would like to acknowledge them for the commitment and the student success that they're working hard. They're demonstrating excellence in the classroom. Most importantly, the sacrifice and their service to all of the students of Tangiville Parish School System. We will recognize our elementary teachers, then our middle school, then our high schools. From A Meet Elementary, we have Jordan Slicker. From Chesbro Elementary, Virginia Givens. From DDC Reeves Elementary, Sarah Garcia. From Independence Leadership Academy, Ms. Chastity Joseph. From Laranja Elementary, Amy Populous. From Midway Elementary, Amber Maggio. Amy Maggio. From O.W. Dillon Leadership Academy, Devonia Sibley. From Parent Early Learning Center, Mary Holly Adams. From Spring Creek Elementary, Miss Tanya Thompson. From Tucker Elementary, Miss Lauren Rose. From Woodland Park Magnet School, Amanda Foy. And our district winner for our elementary schools is Miss Lindsay Duvaney. Okay. No, I'm getting ready. I won't leave you out, Miss Rhonda, I promise you. Okay, let me announce that again. From Roseland Montessori School, our district winner is Miss Lindsay Duvaney. She's a third grade math and science teacher at Roseland Montessori School in Roseland, Louisiana. She has taught at Roseland since 2019. Lindsay is a proud alum of Tangible Parish Schools, dating back to her earliest years at Midway Elementary, Southeastern Louisiana University's Laboratory School, to being a 2015 Hammond High School graduate and a member of the first International Baccalaureate graduating class. She graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree in elementary education from SLU, along with an International Baccalaureate certification. With the desire to expand her horizons, Lindsay accepted a job at Roseland, where she has developed a love for the Montessori philosophy, and the internationally Montessori provides children in meeting their needs academically, socially, and developmentally. She began Montessori training and is currently working to complete her certification. Professional development is a strong passion of hers, as she has acquired a certification as a math intervention content leader in her early years of teaching, as well as being involved in the 2021-2022 Science Content Leader cohort. In the whirlwind of the pandemic, she participated in development of Tangible Parish's third grade science virtual curriculum, developing the materials for the later modules in the curriculum. Her goal has always been to commit herself to becoming a better, more knowledgeable teacher so that she can give her best to her students, as they are the ones that will go before her and change the world as we know it. Again, Ms. Lindsay Duvaney, we thank you from Roseland Montessori School. sir. Moving on to our middle schools. Representing Amite Westside Middle Magnet, Ms. Vicki Washington. Champ Cooper, we have Ms. Linda Husky. Greenville Park Leadership Academy, Ms. Kim Montgomery. Hammond Eastside Magnet, Ms. Holly Rocker. Hammond Westside Montessori School, Catherine and Zena. Hammond Westside Montessori School, Ms. Connie Sanders. Independence Magnet School, Tangela Austin Fleming. Okay, Laranja Middle School for Tasha Harry. Natal Benny Middle School, Karen Bankston. Lucille Neeson Memorial, Cecilia Foster. Ponchatoula Junior High School, Ms. Patricia Ratcher. Southeastern Louisiana University Lab School, Ms. Noelle Bordelon. Sumner Middle School, Julie McMichael. Martha Vineyard, we have Miss Amanda Williams. And representing our district for our Middle School Teacher of the Year from Hammond Eastside Magnet is Miss Latasha Duplessis. Ms. Duplessis currently serves as a 4th grade math and science teacher at Hammond Eastside Elementary Magnet, International Baccalaureate World Class School in Hammond, Louisiana. She has taught at Hammond Eastside since January of 2013. She's an alum of Tangible Parish School System, graduating from Independence High School in 2006. She graduated from Southeastern Louisiana University in December of 2012 with a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education, grades 1 through 5, with a Level 2 teaching certificate for being an effective educator. Ms. Duplessis currently serves as the grade level chairperson for the 4th grade team. She has attended several IB trainings in state and out of state for category 1, 2, and 3 training. She also attended the IB World Conference, which was hosted in New Orleans. And during this time, during the 5th grade exhibition project, She had several community service projects with her groups of students, including volunteering time at the House of Serenity Homeless Shelter in Ponchatoula and hosting a supply drive for military overseas. Ms. Duplessis won the James Patterson Scholastic Book Club Award for her class library to promote reading for all students. She won the Teacher of the Month for PhD Science Level 4 for her amazing work in the classroom and her frequent participation in their Facebook group to help others implement the new curriculum. Ms. Duplessis has a love for sharing the Word of God and has helped to co-facilitate Bible Club, a student-led organization with volunteer faculty supervision for 2 years at Hammond Eastside Elementary Magnet School. Congratulations, Ms. Latasha Duplessis, the District Middle School Teacher of the Year. Thank you.
No. Next, we would like to recognize our teachers at our high schools. From A-Meet High Magnet, Sabrina Good. From Hammond High School, Ms. Shawn Sanders. From Independence High School, Holly Malazzo. Yeah, that's right. I like that. From Kentwood High School, Gerald Stilley. From Laranja High School, Ms. Brandy Alford. From Sumner High School, Zachary Kellum.
Congratulations, Coach.
And representing our district at the state level for the high schools, representing Ponchatoula High School, Ms. Stephanie Robertson. Ms. Stephanie Robertson is a vocal music educator at Ponchatoula High School, where she serves as director of choirs, teaches fine arts survey and music appreciation, dual enrollment, and is a co-sponsor of the Ponchatoula High School Drama Club. As a proud graduate of Ponchatoula High School and the Ponchatoula High School choral program, Ms. Robertson is committed to helping her students learn, grow, excel, and appreciate music just as her core directors did for her. Under her direction, the Ponchatoula High School Choirs continues to have students represented in all state, district honor choir, and parish honor choir ensembles, earn excellent and superior ratings in parish, district, and state choir assessments, and perform around the community. Ms. Robinson is an active member of the National Association for Music Educators, American Choral Directors Association, the Tangipahoa Association of Music Educators, and the Louisiana Music Educators Association, where she serves on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. Ms. Robinson earned her Bachelor of Music Education degree from Southeastern Louisiana University and her Master of Music degree from Kent State University. Prior to teaching at Ponchatoula High School, she taught pre-K-6 general music at Hammond Eastside Magnet School in Hammond, Louisiana, and served as an itinerant general music choir and piano teacher for elementary and junior high schools in St. Tammany Parish. We're glad to have you. On behalf of Tangipahoa Parish, we'd like to thank you for representing our district at the state level as our District High School Teacher of the Year.
And let me just say that if Stephanie Robertson does not win Secondary Teacher of the Year in Louisiana, there's something wrong. That's all I just want to say.
Last but not least, this is a new award that the state has provided for us this year. It's for the new Teacher of the Year. This is a teacher who has served for 1 year or less, brand new to the classroom, but exhibited excellence in all things. And representing our district this year is Miss Megan Avery from DDC Reeves Elementary School. Ms. Megan Avery is currently a first-year teacher at DC Reeves Elementary School in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. She teaches third grade ELA and social studies. She's an alum of Tangipahoa Parish Schools and has a bachelor's degree in early childhood education from Southeastern Louisiana University and an associate's degree in veterinary nursing from Baton Rouge Community College. She is a part of the building committee, the Bud Club committee, and is one of the teachers in our after-school enrichment program. This is one of her quotes. "A failure is not always a mistake. It may simply be the best one that can do under circumstances. The real mistake is to stop trying," by B.F. Skinner. The experience of being able to teach in a community that I grew up in makes being an educator even more special. Having the opportunity to give back to the community that made me the person I am today makes everything we have been through this past year in our community worth it. I come from a long line of educators, and the example I was shown growing up was to teach each student, not just the class as a whole. I believe in making sure each of my students leave my classroom with not only an understanding of the content, but also on their way to becoming lifelong learners and productive citizens. Again, our new teacher of the year for our district is Ms. Megan Avery of DDC Reeves Elementary. And also receiving a new teacher award to represent our district from Chesbro Elementary School is Mallory Womack Maggio.
I'd just like to really quickly say thank you to all the people who came to support these teachers tonight, whether you're a family member or a co-worker. And if you're a principal, I would like for you to wave at us. Look at that. Thank you, principals, for coming out.
At this time, we're going to take a 5-minute break so that y'all can get up and leave it.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Teacher of the Year is a tough act to follow.
You got to speak
So
up.
our Fast Forward initiative is the introduction of associate degrees to the high schools. You can go ahead and move forward. Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to do that, right? Okay, there we go. So on Louisiana Believes, if you go to Graduation Pathways, there is a link now for Fast Forward. And you can click on the second one there, that is the Fast Forward Pathways. And we're divided into regions, and our region is Region 2.
Just give me a second.
Okay.
Okay.
And our pathways actually start on page 34 of that document. So go on down to the bottom there, and we are the third link, is all of them. And so each district, according to their Baton Rouge Area Chamber, was our guiding force, because the pathways that were passed were based on what that industry needed and wanted. And so I mentioned that we needed building technology specialists, and that I wanted the Jumpstart pathway at North Shore, as well as, you can go down a little bit, I think it's 3 pages down. One more. And there's also a Tufts University Associate of Applied Science. That one's the Baton Rouge Community College. So you go down another few pages. And there is one at Southeastern. So Southeastern was allowed to keep 4 associate degrees, and so the building technology specialist is what we have there as well. We're working on the other 3. They're at Southeastern now, getting approved by Dr. Temple and Dr. Crane. So we hope to add those later in the next round. And then the other pathway that we got is in supply chain and logistics. You can keep going down. It's another thing. There it is. Okay, and it is the Louisiana transfer degree in general business. And it will have an emphasis in supply chain management. You can take me back to the PowerPoint now. And so in Tangipahoa, we will have 3 options for the freshmen that come in this year for associate degrees. And what will happen is, in addition to checking off their high school requirements, you will also check off the requirements for the associate degree. It is the intent of Fast Forward that these students will spend their junior and senior year immersed on a college campus. We don't think it's going to look quite that way in Tangipahoa and some of the surrounding areas because Southeastern has such a robust dual enrollment program already. So it's not necessarily that that child has to leave their campus, although with scheduling conflicts, it could be easier for the child to go do it there. So as these pathways roll out, we'll have to kind of play that part by ear and see how the scheduling works out at the high school and the college. So these are the key players, and if you can get to the PowerPoint from the board documents, which I think she put it up there, you can actually click on that industrial technology and see all the different pathways there. We worked with Dr. Sadeh, Jared Reno, and Lawrence Mowerman there. We also worked with Dr. Nagara with the supply chain management, and we worked with dual enrollment and the Louisiana transfer degrees. If you click on that link that says Louisiana transfer degrees, AALT and ASLT, that's an Associate of Arts and an Associate of Science. And they have already planned out that you take the associate degree and walk right over to the bachelor's degree in 17 different pathways. So although the high schools have just started working on this, the technical colleges and the universities have been working on sharing credits for the last 10 years. And so this is our North Shore partners with the building technology specialist. We at first thought that was only going to be offered at the Sullivan campus and at the Correctional Institute, but Florida Parishes in Greensburg is also going to offer this for us. So we will have this option there. And I hear that there are plans eventually to buy some land and expand the Hammond campus. And so when that happens, hopefully they'll have the building technology specialists there. All the other pathways that were approved, some of those we will be able to approve in Region 2 as well without having to go through the Board of Regents. And Dr. Roberts is working on those pathways, you know, to see if we can get a welding pathway, an electrical pathway without having to go back to the Board of Regents. But if it's brand new courses, that does have to go through the Board of Regents. So there will be more pathways to come. And of course, our partners over at the Technical College are Dr. Roberts, Dr. Wainwright, Kim Fitch, and Sandy Yeager. Kim and Sandy work well with us on all of our nursing programs. Anything that we don't offer on our campus, our students can go to their campuses and take through dual enrollment. And I think that's it. Do y'all have any questions about Fast Forward?
I do, Ms. Carter.
Yes.
So for a student at Kentwood High School, because I love this course, absolutely love it, and I was just sitting there digging into the curriculum and some of the different aspects of it on the building technology. How does a student at Kentwood High School participate in this program?
Okay, so what's already offered on our campus, we want to offer on our campus. So Mr. Stilley already offers NCCER core and NCCER carpentry. So a student would have to complete the core and the carpentry, and then when, let's say, we don't have many students for level 2, that's when they could transfer over to North Shore and work on the rest of the courses there. And what we'll do is any elective credit, if they're taking building technology, whatever number over at the technical college, that will count in their curriculum and we'll count it as an elective on our side. And same thing with the Englishes and the maths. If he goes over there and he needs to stay over there all day and can't come back to the high school campus his junior and senior year, then that person will be able to take their Englishes and their maths over there and they will transfer to the high school. So that was the work that we did. Stephanie Markham is our contact at the State Department that works on this and helps us. And We at first weren't really sure what the advantage was to having a pathway go through Fast Forward. But now we understand that all the courses that are in the Fast Forward pathway, if a student goes and takes it at the technical college, we get career development funds for them. So that will help allow us to pay their tuition over there.
Thank you.
Another question. So, do we transfer kids from the school to these programs?
Yes, we do, when we can. The transportation department gets a little mad at me when I don't have enough students on the bus. We like to have 10 students on the bus, so as long as it's feasible, we do transport them from wherever their campus is to either the Hammond campus or the Greensburg campus, depending on, where the school is located.
When I checked last week at the Rogers, it seemed as if they could get them to the North Shore, but they couldn't get them back to school in time to catch their bus.
Correct, and sometimes what will happen, what we do in the Hammond campus is we get them there, but then the parents have to pick them up. So we will have to do some creative things like that where, we may be able to get them there in the middle of the day when the parent's working, but then someone may have to pick them up. We already do that at the Hammond campus. We drop our CNAs, I think it is, off, or medical assistants, one or the other, and then the parents pick them up at the end of the day.
Okay. And I spoke with Ms. Dilly about maybe ag one day could count as a science for those students that take ag. Is that possible?
I think it already does, correct?
No?
Ag 1 and Ag 2 can count as a science. So if you take both, it can count as a science.
Did we know that? I don't know if I knew.
Since we've had it for years, Ag 1 and 2 is a science.
Okay, thank you.
I still need to look there at my backup plan. She's always there for me, and she's been a great teacher in all of this. Any other questions?
Anybody else have anything?
Just one more question. These classes, are they more morning classes, or I heard you say afternoon?
Right, we don't know at this point. So this is just starting. This will be the very first year, and that's what I'm talking about. When these freshmen become juniors and seniors, if the scheduling works out, they can stay on their campus longer. But if it doesn't, they may have to go to the university campus and be fully immersed in the university campus.
Because I was just thinking, as far as time frame is concerned, that perhaps you could schedule the classes earlier in the day, and that way you can have the students back in time to catch your bus.
Yes, sir. We take scheduling into account, but with so many different students and so many different options, sometimes that doesn't work out nice and pretty like we want it to.
Right.
So.
All right. That's it. Thank you, Ms. Cooper.
Thank you.
Cooper. Thank you.
Moving on to consider committee reports, Capital Outlay Committee of the Whole from March 8th, 2022. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Tom, second by Ms. Richards. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Finance and Audit Committee, March 8th, 2022. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by
Second.
Ms. Simmons, second by Ms. Dominguez. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Policy Committee of the Whole, March 8th, 2022. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion to accept by Mr. Dominguez, second by Mr. Toller. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to superintendent's reports and the recommendations, recognize Mr. Ian Rice, Project Director, Development, Next Era Energy Resources. Ms. Stilley?
Yes, we have Mr. Rice here, and as most of you may know, Amite High School received a grant, a STEM grant for $50,000 for a classroom, and I think Mr. Rice is going to update us, the board, on information regarding that.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Stilley. I'm just here today to amplify this good news story. The Next Era Energy Foundation, we're thrilled to be able to award one of only 10 grants nationwide to update STEM classrooms to the Amite High Magnet School. It's really a testament to the work of Ms. Stilley's team and Dr. Ford's team that the application was successful, and we're very excited to see what they do, building a classroom of the future in this robotics program that Dr. Ford has envisioned. And I'm excited to update the board that the funds have now been transferred from our charitable arm, the Next Era Energy Foundation, to the Amite High Magnet School to help with transformational STEM learning in this classroom. So I'm happy to answer questions and also happy to keep things brief. I know you all aren't here to see me speak.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good news, too. Very good news.
Thank you, Mr. Rice.
Any other updates?
You got another 50,000 hanging around, you get to Punchville High School? Well, I throw that out there.
Yeah, also I wanted to share some sort of sad news. We had Miss Henrietta Vernon, who was a longtime educator and also a principal at O.W. Dillon, passed away over the weekend. I think she was just 45 years old, and would like to remember her family during this time and the many people that worked with her. I saw her mother today and her brother and got an opportunity to talk to them. She loved the children at O.W. Dillon. She knew every child by name. She knew about where they came from, their background, and her heart and soul was at that school. And so I just want to, just acknowledge her many years of service there at O.W. Dillon. And of course, she ended her career there as the principal of that school. And as I was talking with her mother today, I said, there's many leaders that just want to be principal, and it doesn't matter where they go, they'll be principal anywhere. But for Miss Vernon, she only wanted to be at O.W. Dillon. That was her place. That was where her heart was. And so I just want to acknowledge her many years of service. And then also Mr. Reggie Elsie, who's principal at Woodland Park, lost his mother. And then within a week, he lost his brother and then his sister-in-law. So 3 major losses for his family within a week. And of course, Miss Lorenda, his wife, is also one of our principals, Miss Lorenda Elsie, at Parent Early Learning Center in Ponchatoula. So just want to be remembering them during this really difficult time for their families. Thank you.
Sad. All right, moving on to other board actions. Consider approval to dismiss the Ponchatoula area schools a half a day on April 8th due to the Strawberry Festival traffic. Ms. Dominguez?
No.
Well, I really would like to bring this out because there are hundreds of thousands of people that come into Ponchatoula. Buses, traffic is crazy, and I think it's great if we can go ahead and dismiss because they start the rides, at lunch, and we can get our children home safely without having to interrupt with the traffic. And this would only affect the Ponchatoula routes. We've done it in the past because it's a safety concern. I know, spoke with the chief of police and in the past, and he would like for us to be able to do that, so it would cause a little less havoc in town. So I would like to make a motion, yes, that we dismiss the Ponchatoula area schools half a day on the Strawberry Festival Friday the 8th.
Is there
a second?
Second by Ms. Simmons. Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank y'all.
All right, we have personal privilege. We're going to start with Miss Robin tonight.
Well, it was lovely having the Strawberry Festival royalty here. Congratulations to all of our teachers and the state teachers that were awarded tonight. We know how much hard work it goes into putting on a festival, Ms. Dominguez, as we just had our Sicilian Festival this past weekend. So we're wishing the Oyster Festival this weekend the best of luck, and again to the Strawberry Festival in April, along with the Italian Festival. It does bring a lot of economic development to our community. People don't realize how much hard work it goes into doing these festivals and how much it brings to the community. But once again, just congratulations to all of our teachers, because they did an amazing job this year. We know how hard it's been considering the COVID for the last 3 years, but we know that they did an amazing job trying to hang in there, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan?
I just wanted to talk, I guess not so briefly, about the work that the board has been doing and I know will continue to do to try and move our employees to having competitive salaries with our neighboring districts. I do have, thanks to the administration, some updated information about that I'll share with the board and with the public. But before I do that, I did just want to kind of go down memory lane a bit and talk about the long journey that we've been on just to get to the point that we're at now. This board first began having conversations about the need to have competitive salaries with our neighboring districts back in October of 2016, which is when we had our first meeting of the Vision 2020 Commission over at Hammond High School. And at that point, it was the consensus of all of the members of the Vision 2020 Commission that if we wanted to make any improvement of our overall school system, it had to start with an investment in our employees. And that in order to do that, we had to make a strong commitment to having salaries that were competitive with our neighboring districts. Over the course of the year, that commission continued to meet and put together specific proposals that the board adopted and then put before the voters of our community to hopefully try and fund those specific proposals. Of course, that effort was not successful. The community made clear to us over the course of that election that there were some very important things that they expected this board to do before they would approve any sort of revenue measure to fund that, to fund those efforts. The board then immediately took to the work of making those adjustments. We brought in a new administrative team to help lead that effort. We made substantial progress on the desegregation case to include substantially getting rid of all of the legal expenses that we were paying towards that effort, and then got provisional unitary status. After making all of those steps, we then began work on a new proposal to fund competitive salaries. That was done through the Educational Facilities Improvement District, who met, put that specific proposal together, and then the board agreed to put that before the voters. Part of that promise that we made to the voters was not just that we would work towards competitive salaries, but we committed specifically to a 7% increase in salaries immediately upon passage of that measure. Thankfully, that measure passed. The board immediately committed, did in fact agree to that 7% increase, which was put in place at the beginning of this school year. In addition to the 7% increase, we also added some additional bumps to various positions to try and get those positions competitive. And then later this most recently, there was a $1,000 salary supplement that was also approved. That went along or was in addition to the salary increase that the state legislature passed that was also put in place this year. With that said, the good news is there's a lot of good news there. We initially thought that the 1/2 cent penny would collect around about $10 million per year, and that was what we used. That was the figure that we used to budget the 7% increase. We are on track for that half penny to actually collect $13 million this year. So what the administration has begun doing is putting together a salary study for us so that we can evaluate exactly where we are for all positions within our school district and where we currently stand as far as being competitive with our neighboring districts. The work that we've done up to this point has thankfully, according to the preliminary results of that study, we are now competitive and actually beat Livingston Parish at just about every step, meaning at every step level when it comes to our teacher salaries. Our teachers' salaries are competitive both as a starting salary for certified teachers as well as, as they progress as far as degrees and up through the years. Our bus drivers are competitive with Livingston Parish. They, in fact, make about $45 a year more than bus drivers in Livingston Parish as their starting salary. There is still work to do for our bus drivers at various steps, though, according to the preliminary results of this study. Our paras, however, are still well behind our neighboring districts. They are $279 a year less than the Livingston Parish paras as their starting salary. Our school food service workers, as far as a starting salary, are $922 per year less than school food service workers in Livingston Parish. Our custodians are probably the worst yet, and if you go and look at how difficult it is to hire custodians right now for our schools, this is reflected. They earn $3,000 per year less than their counterparts in Livingston Parish. I can provide you with numbers. If we start to look at St. Tammany Parish, we are even further behind when it comes to our support workers. Just looking at starting salaries, our custodians here make $5,015 less per year than the custodians in St. Tammany Parish. Our school food service workers make $5,074 less per year than the school food service workers in St. Tammany Parish. Our bus drivers make $7,996 less than what the bus drivers in St. Tammany Parish make. So while we are competitive with Livingston Parish, again, we still have a long way to go if we ever hope to get to St. Tammany Parish. And our paraprofessionals make $5,619 less per year than those in St. Tammany Parish. The challenge is that although we do have about $3 million that we think we ought to be able to budget towards this this continued effort, just to get our support staff to those numbers that I mentioned, just to get our support staff, not talking about any additional increases for our teachers, but just if we were to try to target getting our custodians competitive, our school food service workers, our paras, that will cost us $1 million per year, which is a significant expenditure. And that's, again, just to get to Livingston Parish. The goal of this board has been that we want to be competitive with all of our neighboring districts. So we need to have a significant conversation about the best strategic way to continue to work towards that goal. I think we'll be ready to act on this as a board, hopefully, once we get the final results of the salary study. Of course, to go through this process, you know, it is a pretty elaborate requirement as far as what all has to happen according to state law. We have to talk about budget amendments. We have to do, it has to go through finance. We have to continue to do the study. You know, making even a $1 million expenditure is not something that should be done without ensuring that we're doing everything exactly the way that it's supposed to be done. But again, I think we ought to be proud as a community of the work that's been done to get to this point, and I know that we are all committed to continuing the hard work of getting this done for our employees. We've made this commitment. The community has said that this is something that's important to them, and now that we know how much this tax will collect on a year-to-year basis, because again, this is the first year that we've been collecting it. We weren't sure how much it was going to collect, but now that we have that data, I know we all look forward to being able to take that next step.
Thank you. Ms. Simmons?
Thank you, Mr. Duncan, for that report. That was very informative. I just wanted to announce that Thursday is a TARC radiothon, and the Bailey crew will open up at 8 that morning, raising money for TARC, and some of you have already graciously given contributions for that hour. And I have 12 schools that are going to have Gene Day that day and earning money, and some of them already have brought the money in. But so that's going to be at 8 o'clock with Johnny in the morning, right? 96.5. And also, too, I was privileged this morning to go to the governor's prayer breakfast in Baton Rouge, and Miss Stilley got to go too. And I guess what I'll say about that, it was nothing political. It was all about giving God the glory and praising God for His blessings and giving Him honor. And I was it just brought all parties together that day. No politics, just prayer for our state of Louisiana. It was great.
Mr. Bush?
Thank you. I want to mention this real quick, then I want to comment on Mr. Duncan's. Amite High football state champs, Ponchatoula High School football runners-up, Amite High School girls state champs, Ponchatoula High School girls state champs, and Amite High School boys state runner-up. So that's what we've got so far in our parish through our athletics team, which is pretty cool. So I want to recognize all that. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. I sat in this office in 2020, and I talked about our transportation department, and I put my efforts out there with the superintendent, her staff, the transportation department. I shared my thoughts, my feelings. I came back last year and tried to get additional money for the bus drivers. And I'm going to tell you tonight, Mr. President, I'm not stopping until this gets on the agenda before the salary study comes out, that we look at our bus drivers and we recognize that they are a total different department than anybody else in our school system except our teachers. Our teachers go in the classroom, they close the door, they are responsible one-on-one for these students. Our bus drivers get in their classroom, which is their bus, and they close the door and they one-on-one responsible for their students. It's not any comparison whatsoever. I spent 25 years at schools. I know about cafeteria workers, I know about custodians, I know about secretaries, I know about everybody. I've not had one person call me, not one person call me from the secretarial staff, the custodian staff, the cafeteria staff, or any other support worker at our schools, except bus drivers. And if we don't do something about this, like I said last summer, we're going to end ourselves in worse shape than we are in now. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why we can't work this out as a school board and do something about it. They all need more money. Mr. Duncan and I have chatted, very civil about cafeteria workers and all the divisions. I got it. And I understand the salaries coming out. And I understand we're going to try to do something in our transportation department over across the home. I understand that the kids are disrespectful, but none of that's going to be solved overnight. But I tell you what we can do. We can solve some of this and help our drivers out and show them how appreciative we are by coming together as a school board and giving them some additional funds before this school year's over. Now, Mr. President, I've tried to do this with everybody personally. I think I've probably spoke to everybody in this room, superintendent included, at the convention or Thursday, and I've been waiting. And I do not want, and please drivers, do not leave us during that week of testing. I'm begging you not to do that. Give me some time to work this thing out the best I can. And let these babies go to school. We need your help too. I need you to help me here. I'm fighting hard for you, and I need you to fight with me. But Mr. President, you explain to me as our board president how we're going to get this on the agenda and when we're going to discuss it and when we can get it to the finance committee. And can we do it in 2 weeks or can we do it next month at the next meeting? And that's what I'm asking you right now. How do I go about doing this?
We'll have to see if we can put it on the finance committee for the next session.
And I'm going to tell you my proposal out loud, and I'm not a finance guy like Mr. Snottabout, but I do hear him talk. I think owners, operators should get a little more than drivers because they are having extra expense. And I'm not saying a lot. And listen, by no means is this going to help as much as you need. And no matter what we do on our salary schedule for next year, it's not going to be enough as the cafeteria workers, our custodians, or everybody needs. I understand that. So whatever you get, please, my friends, just understand we're making some kind of effort to figure this out. But I just personally don't want to wait till July. I want to do it as soon as we can. So let the finance committee work it out with our CFO and figure out what we can come up with. And please, whatever it is, just bow your head and say, thank you, God, that you got something, and not go out there and complain about it's not enough, because I know already it's not going to be enough. But we can't fix the disrespectful kids. And I know Miss Aaron's not here tonight. She said she couldn't make it, but I got one myself on that bus that sometimes is disrespectful. So I understand that. And I know our department needs to be rearranged in some way, and I know Miss Stilley's working on that. She promised every one of us that she's working on that transportation department to figure something out to make it more bus driver friendly for y'all. And I got that too. But we're going to need some patience, and I know you've been patient for years. I understand that. But you heard me tonight. You heard Mr. President Glenn Westmoreland say he's going to put it on the Finance Committee agenda. And we're going to be presenting something. Hopefully in 2 weeks you'll hear something about it. And thank you for being respectful tonight. I appreciate it. And also, Mr. President, instead of making these good people wait till we can get out of executive session, let them speak their mind before we go back there so they can get home, so they can get up in the morning and get on them buses, because they're the first faces that our children see every day. And I would appreciate if they could speak their mind before we go back in the back and keep them waiting another 45 minutes.
Okay, Ms. Janice? Okay, Mr. Jerry?
Yeah, and I agree with that. Randy, everything that you said, we've talked about it. I know these bus drivers put up with a lot. And I appreciate you. I'm going to tell you what, I have total respect. I've got one grandson that I'm dealing with at home. And I know what it's like dealing with him, and I know what it's like when he gets with his friends. He gets rambunctious. He would not act that way around me, neither would his friends. But once he's away from me, he becomes a part of the group that he's with. And so I have nothing but total respect for your propensity to deal with these children. I mean, to be a bus driver is one heck of a job. And so I just want to let you know that I do appreciate you, and I agree with Randy. I do believe. Yeah, and I agree we should let them speak before we go into the executive session. I had some other things to say, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
I think that's enough to contend with right now.
Ms. Rose?
Yes, thank you all for coming. We appreciate you. We do appreciate everything you do every day. As Mr. Duncan said, we are working on it. We are working diligently on it. We promised that we would give an increase to everyone once we figured out how much money we were receiving from the 1/2 cent sales tax. At this point, we are above our predictions, which is great, but we have to go through the process. But we do have a lot of employees, not just bus drivers. We have all these other people who are wishing we could give them money too. So we're working on trying to give money, an increase to all our people who are very underpaid. So give us a little patience, and we are working on it. We've got the figures, we've been going over them, and we're doing the best that we can. Thank you so much for the Teachers of the Year who were here tonight. And
Please don't disrespect Ms. Dominguez. We're going to give y'all an opportunity to speak.
we appreciate all the Teachers of the Year that came tonight. They work diligently every day in the classroom, and we're glad that we were able to honor them. And we just appreciate the patience that you've given us tonight as well.
Thank you. Mr. Tom?
Yeah, just a couple things. I'll try to make it quick. I do, just reiterate, we do appreciate our bus drivers. It is a challenge on this side of the table, trying to balance budgets. I think about Parish. Parish right now make less than bus drivers. They're in school 8 hours. So Mr. Duncan is correct. We're not opposed to any conversations with bus drivers or anything else about pay. That is why we're spending the money to do the study that we're doing, to try to make sure that we make the right decisions from the standpoint of the school system, keeping in mind we can never do what we always want to do, but we do what we have to do fiscally and be responsible. But part of what the complaints from the bus drivers that's come up in this, and it's one of my issues that I wanted to mention real quick tonight, is discipline issues. Since the last meeting in my area, we've had more and more instances of violence. We have a lot of students in our school system, and the vast majority of those students go to school every day to learn. But we do have students in our school system that do not value this education. And because of that, they're causing havoc and they're causing fear among our employees, among our parents, and among our students. We as a board set these policies in place. I was told that I should steer clear, not from Ms. Dilly, but I was told that I should steer clear of discipline type issues. If not us, who? We set the policies. We as a board, and Mr. Bush just mentioned it, we do need to spend more time conversing and talking about issues. Not that we're trying to hide from the public, because we can't break open meeting laws, but we need to meet as a board more in committees and more without rush of time and without so we can discuss some of these issues. Are our policies working in discipline? Are the administrators adhering to our policies? Are these things being carried out? Are Step 6 hearings, are they being productive? Are we recirculating troubled kids back to the classroom that are causing more disruptions, that are causing more of our kids to be afraid to go to school? That's the hard conversations that we have to have and have to have soon. I've asked Ms. Dilly for a meeting. I want to sit down with her and the staff and go over some of these things. I know she's been doing investigations on these things, but we had one day, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had 5 fights at one school in one day. That's not a reflection of our schools. We've had fights in schools since we've had schools. That's a given. We have to figure out, are we doing what we can do to the best of our ability to stop this and to correct this? We have a task, we have an alternative school. I know we can't solve home problems. I know there's a lot of other socioeconomic problems that come into our schools. I get all that. But I can tell you that kids respond when they're rewarded for good behavior and punished for bad behavior. It's biblical, it's just common sense, and we have to have some hard discussions about that. Next Tuesday night, there's a meeting at Sumner. I think that's the 22nd at 7 p.m. It's not put on by me, but I will be there. It's put on by a bunch of parents that have gotten together and said, we want to discuss this openly. I know they've invited the administration, and I'm hoping that the administration, whoever can come. This is not going to be a gripe session, because that was the first question I asked them. We know the problems. We need solutions. I don't want to walk into a cafeteria where we sit there for an hour and I get beat up about how bad the schools are. That's not productive. We need productive conversation with our parents so that they feel like they're being heard and that we can make some changes. That also affects the bus drivers. We need bus drivers to know that these kids are well behaved on their buses. That's part of their complaints. Once again, look, the Teachers of the Year, every last one of them. I saw my my secretary, Miss Sharon Lindsay, Miss Sharon Lindsay, that was sitting in there. I couldn't get to her during the thing, but she's still there as the secretary at Sumner. I love her to death, and her daughter Sarah was one of the ones from DC Reads. But congratulations to all of them. Please help us, keep us in mind, and administration, I beg you, let's have some honest discussions about discipline and see what we can do to solve that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Janice?
Good evening. First, I'd like to say congratulations to Amy girls, and then the boys for second runner-up, and then Ponchatoula, and to the teachers. We really appreciate you and all that you do. To my bus drivers, I just want you to know that you do have our support. We are here for you. I have had in my area, I have had my bus drivers to call me, and we have talked about what the problems are, and we are going to try our best to do what we can to accommodate you. I just want you to know that you have the support of the board, and I want you to know that we're listening to you and what you're saying. I would like to say too, please have a little patience, because we do want to get our children to school safely and back home. However, we hear you and we know what your problem is, and when it comes to discipline, we know how that is. Because back in the day when I was going to school, if you got in trouble on that bus and your parent had to take you to school, there was going to be some problems for that child when you got home, because they did not want to take you to school. So I think that those are some of the hardcore things that we're going to have to look at and get back to figure out a way to solve our discipline problems. Now, the money problem part of it, I think that I'm with Tom, is that, okay, we need to have some conversations as this board, and we need to see where the money is and what it is that we can do, and like Randy said, what can we do immediately? So I just want to say that I just want you to know that you're not on an island by yourself, and that you are being heard. We do feel your pain. We really, really do. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Ms. Janice. Okay, Mr. Duncan.
I skipped over this on my notes, and somebody in the audience just reminded me. But first, I did want to say, I don't see any reason why this should take till July to get figured out. I also don't, so I think it'll happen much sooner. I also wanted to point out that the $3 million more that we will be getting $3 million more for this budget year and in subsequent years. So whatever we can do, there's no reason why we can't get it done to where something is allotted for both this school year and next school year. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is we did hear from a number of you about the fuel issue, and we've asked the administration, and they are working on doing a fuel study to ensure that, or at least to get us the numbers to figure out what it will take to make sure that the fuel that you spend doing the work that you do for this school system is properly reimbursed. If there is a problem with that, I can tell you everyone I've talked to on the board has agreed that we have to fix that problem. So the administration is working on that. They have a very in-depth study that they are working on to get those numbers to us. And again, if you are spending money out of your pocket on fuel to do your job, then that is not what this board wants you to be doing. And so where we can find that is happening and why it's happening, we're going to address that. And again, that is not something that will take any months to get done. We just have to figure out why it's happening, where it's happening, and how much it's going to cost to fix it.
I'd like to echo Ms. Janice, because I didn't know that we were going to get on this subject when I was the first to talk. There's not a bus driver that has called me that I have not relayed their messages to the superintendent and to our central office. And every time we talk, to the central office, we're told the same thing. We are working on this. We promise we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to help these bus drivers. They're not sitting on their hands, I promise you guys. We are working. A bunch of you are my friends. I'm not going to throw y'all under the bus. I want y'all to have the money you deserve because I know how hard you all work. It might be said that y'all only work 5 hours a day, but those 5 hours a day are probably the longest hours of your life. Having to deal with children that are disrespectful. Not all of them are disrespectful, because we're not going to say that. A lot of them are very respectful. But to have to deal with what you deal with when you close your doors, y'all deserve more than what you get. And I agree with that 100%. Don't think that we're not backing you guys, because we are. We just have to make sure where we can get this money from before we make this decision, because it's ultimately this board's decision, not central office.
Thank you.
Mr. Westmore, can I ask you one more question? Miss Cindy, when is our next official school board meeting? The date? Do you have the date on that?
The meeting is April 12th.
April 12th, a full school board meeting.
Yes, we moved it up because the third Tuesday will be spring break, Easter, so we moved it up a week so we would have it.
If I have to stand up April 12th and introduce a motion to give you more money, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do everything I can to get it on the agenda for April 12th. So April 12th, you will know what it is and how much you're going to get ASAP, April 12th. You have my word on that, I can promise you.
I would like to give the same sentiments that our board has and congratulate all of the winners of a meet in Ponchatoula, whether they were runner-up or state champions. We definitely appreciate them and congratulate them, as well as all the teachers that was here today. We're very proud of them and we thank them for their service. And I'd like to also tell the bus drivers here, we 100% do thank y'all for y'all service. Y'all very important jobs to get our children to their schools, and we will do what we can do to supplement, to deal with the issues of discipline and the transportation department. Ms. Stilley, do you have anything you'd like to add at this time? And I'm going to go ahead and go out of order and call up Mr. Lamar Stewart. He's asked to speak tonight concerning school bus driver transportation, and he'll have 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There are many cancer cells in the transportation department, and no longer do we want chemotherapy. We're coming to our board to help us find a cure. We need air conditioners on our buses. 6 out of the 9 months that we drive to children in this parish is hot. The disciplinary issues. The school bus is an expansionary playground. Children know that if they act up on the bus, they're only going to be suspended off the bus for a few days. But if they act up in the classroom, they'll do everything in their power to help the teachers get them to task. So why don't we have any support? The object of the bus driver is to get the children to school safely. Disruptive children prevent us from getting the children to school safely. Disruptive children grow up to become disruptive adults. Thirdly, we haven't had a bus driver in 2 years. We have drivers driving bus routes that they have no desire to drive. And we want to know, why is it that we haven't had a bus driver? Fourthly, the routing of the routes are horrible. Routes are maximized while lease drivers are on. But as soon as a contract driver comes to the draft to get their route, those routes are basically dwindled down from 38 miles to 30 miles to 25 miles to eventually there are no miles for the contract driver who bought their bus with the purpose of making money. We want to know, why does the field coordinator qualifications require you to have a degree, but the qualifications to be the director of transportation does not require you to have a Class B CDL license? Do you want the people to have something that the director doesn't have? That's unfair. Extracurricular programs. We want to know, why is it that we're only paid $30 for extra routes? If you hire a sub driver to come in and do their route, you're going to pay them $100 per day. So therefore, why can't he or she that's driving, why can't the drivers be compensated appropriately? Extracurricular activities such as summer school and after school, this after school year, this school year, they asked people to drive at $30. Nobody would do it. They had to send it back at $50. And that's when they got a response from the drivers who began driving for after school, summer school programs. Last summer, we was paid $80 a day, but the daily rate was $86. So how is it possible that for summer school, you make less money than you make during a regular school year? The wages, a 7% increase was totally unethical and unjust. A 7% increase for a person that makes $100,000 a year is $7,000. You divide that by 12, it's equivalent to a $583 per month raise. But a person that makes $18,000 a year, a 7% increase is only $1,260. And you divide that by 12, that's equivalent to $105 a year, a month, and guess what? They increased our insurance, so therefore our raise went to our insurance. Amen. Currently, transportation department is on life support. And the ventilation system that's keeping it alive are these bus drivers here who underpromised but have overperformed. When we became bus drivers, we simply promised to deliver kids to school safely, to perform pre-trip and post-trip inspections. But we have overperformed because we're no longer just bus drivers. We have become disciplinarians. We have become janitors. We have become secretaries. We have become counselors. We have become providers. We have become a listening ear. We have become a helping hand to the children that we see and love and drive to school daily. Amen. And now, we're asking our board for their support as we continue to support the children that we love. We have been underpaid for far too long. And now we're asking you to compensate us fairly and appropriately based off what we do. I know y'all may say it's just driving a bus for 5 hours a day. But as one of the board members said, it's a lot that go into those 5 hours a day. You never know. It may be your child or grandchild that I may have to be the one help simply because I see a need. So therefore, we ask you to view us as more than just bus drivers. And also, while I'm speaking, our contract drivers, from my understanding, they're reimbursed based off unleaded gas prices. And we can look at what's going on in the world today. Presently, it costs significantly more to operate a diesel vehicle than it does a vehicle that requires unleaded fuel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. At this time, we'll move on to a motion to enter executive session to consider the cases of Joshua Poche versus TPSB, LaKaren Mitchell versus TPSB, and the matter of Rhonda Baratini. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Duncan. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Simmons. At this time, we're going to enter into executive session.
17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
All right, Mr. Duncan, you have a motion.
On the matter of Joshua Poche versus Ponchatoula High School, no action. On the matter of Mitchell versus Berkeley Insurance and Tangible Parish School Board, no action. On the matter of Rhonda Baratini, we move to adopt administration's recommendation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is made and second. All in favor? Couple people did. Randy and Janice did. None that oppose, motion passes. And that's all we have on the agenda tonight.